Everyone, this is Video Game Lover here, and it's been a while since I've done one of these types of videos. I will be doing my collection update of my Sega Game Gear. I love this system a lot, and I've accumulated a lot of great games, and I want to showcase them right now. But first, here's the Game Gear itself. This is the Majesco version. This one came out like February of 2001. There's actually a game in it, which I'm just going to pull it out for now. You could tell it's Majesco because this is white, not red, green, and blue. This is a lot better than the regular Game Gear because the screen of it is much better. Have a few accessories. This is the traveling pouch that I recently picked up for the Game Gear. Really convenient. And then this is this giant carrying case, which you're not able to see. It's this giant case. So, see? But anyways, let's get right into the games. We'll start off with this one. If I can open it. Legends of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. This is a really cool game. Really easy though. I don't think this is the best one. I think Land of Illusion is the best one, but still a really good game. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. One of my favorite Game Gear games. This is such an awesome game to play. Very simple. It plays so fluidly for the Game Gear. Love this game. We got Echo, the Tides of Time. This is one that I picked up recently on the Southeast Game Exchange. It's basically an 8-bit version of Echo, the Tides of Time, you know, but instead of the Genesis, it's for the Game Gear. So that's really nice. Mortal Kombat 2. One of my favorite portable versions of it. The graphics in this version are amazing. For the time, man, this version is mind-blowing. For an 8-bit handheld, really cool. So, got that. Bugs Bunny's Double Trouble. I finished this game a while back. It's not a bad 2D platformer. Never played the Genesis version, but this one is not too bad. It runs pretty well on the Game Gear, and I found this in the thrift store. One of the few Game Gear games I actually found in the thrift store. Shining Force. This is one of my all-time favorite games on the Game Gear. Shining Force, the Sword of Haja. This is a really, really cool game. The only thing I don't like about this game is there is a glitch. There was a bug that was never fixed that Freeze 3 does like Freeze 4 damage. So it ends up killing you in nearly one hit. So, but this was the only Shining Force game that came out in the US for the Game Gear. We didn't get one or two. Next up we have probably one of the most expensive Game Gear games I have in the collection, Tales of Adventure. And I got this for $5 back in 2017. A Second and Charles had this game for freaking $5, and I almost freaked out. Oh my god, I needed this game. And I picked it up, and it's a really awesome game. It's a different type of Sonic game. So yeah, really cool to have. Here is Echo the Dolphin, the original one. Picked this up in the Southeast Game Exchange. I haven't played a whole lot of this one, but I heard that they're much easier than the Genesis version. X-Men Mojo World. This is a game that I actually speed ran a while back, and this is the best X-Men game for the Game Gear, but it's not really saying much. The X-Men games on the Game Gear were not very good at all. So, but this one wasn't too bad. It's very short and easy. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. Like Power Rangers on Game Gear, this is another really solid game. It plays the same as Power Rangers, except it's based on the movie. Actually, we'll save that one later. Streets of Rage 1. I actually recently finished this version. it's basically a much easier version of the Genesis game. There's only 5 levels instead of 8, and they got rid of some of the toughest bosses. The twins are still there, but it's not a bad version. One thing that's pretty funny is that the factory level song that plays in this version is actually the factory theme of the second game, which I thought was pretty funny. Here's Streets of Rage 2 in really good shape. Well, except for this right here. It's a pretty decent version of Streets of Rage. I mean, you gotta remember, they're not going to be as good as the Genesis version, but for the time, this was like the best way to play on the go, and this was a really solid version. So, yeah. Mortal Kombat, the original one. Much better than the Game Boy version, but still a little bit rough. Jurassic Park. A really fun side-scrolling game for the Game Gear. This is a must-have. If you love side-scrolling games, I strongly recommend this game. Ninja Gaiden. Really cool game. I picked this up in Puerto Rico, believe it or not. And this is a really fun game for the Game Gear. Garfield Cognac. Now, here's something funny. There's a game you're seeing right now. It's made by the same people. I haven't played a whole lot of this. There's actually more levels into this than the Genesis version, but man, does it play rough. And the reason why it plays rough, it's made by the same people who did this. Nova Train. Now, to be fair, they did Echo the Dolphin, but not sure what they were doing with this game. This game would have been good, but unfortunately, the jumping is just terrible in this game, and it just runs really sloppy. Cool Spot. I recently finished this version. It's basically the same of the Genesis version, except they got rid of the 2 toy and the train level, which I'm actually fine with that because I hated those 3 levels. So, really cool version. Lost World Jurassic Park. This game exploded really hard. This is one of the more rare Game Gear games because this came out in 1997. It's a little bit shorter than the original game. It's a lot of fun, but it's very short. So, it's kind of one of the bummers. Super Columns. This is the other Game Gear game that I found on the thrift store along with Bugs Bunny. Halley Wars. Still have the original price tag, $5, which I can't believe because this game normally goes for about $30 on eBay. I think it probably is more. This is one of the best shmups on the Game Gear. It's a lot of fun. Really cool game. Disney's Aladdin. I know that Megadan live streamed the Master System version. This is just the same, except, you know, it's to fit the Game Gear screen. This is a really solid game for the Game Gear. It's much different than the Genesis version. So if you're expecting it like a portable 16-bit Genesis version, well, it's actually a completely different game. Sonic Triple Trouble. This is one of the best Sonic games on the Game Gear. It's a really cool game. The only thing I don't like about it is getting the Chaos Emeralds is really hard. Devilish. A different type of like Breakout style game. It's like Breakout, but you can move, you know, your character or whatever. And it's a pretty cool game. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Can't go wrong with this. This game is really cheap. You know, I paid only $1 for this game back in 2017. Dynamite Headdy. Basically, it's like the Genesis version, but it's missing some levels. But it runs really well, and it looks amazing for the Game Gear. Sonic 1. This is not like Sonic 1. It's much different, and it's a pretty cool game. Really enjoy the original Sonic. Deep Duck Trouble, starring Donald Duck. This game, I actually have it complete in box. I just have the cartridge for now, so it's a really cool game. Really dope Disney game. This is obviously the Majesco version, as you can tell. Bears Steam Bears, Camping Adventure. I got it because it was $6. Surprisingly, not a bad game. Decent little platformer, nothing wrong with that. Ristar for the Game Gear. Awesome, awesome game, and it runs really well on the Game Gear. There's actually one exclusive level in this version that's not on the Genesis. NBA Jam. Can't go wrong with NBA Jam on the go. Land of Illusion. I believe this is exclusive to the Game Gear. I could be wrong, but this is a really good Mickey Mouse game. Batman Returns. Awesome game. It plays like Shinobi. Really good game. Sonic Chaos. One of the first Sonic games I got for the Game Gear, and it's really good. I love this game a lot. Here is my very first Game Gear game, Madden 96. This game was in the thrift store for like over a year back in 2012, and I finally decided, okay, screw it, I'll pick it up. It was only for $1, or I think $2, I don't remember. FIFA Soccer, I only got this as a gag. I thought it was gonna be the only Game Gear game I was gonna pick up, and I ended up being wrong. The Jungle Book, I haven't really played a whole lot of that game, honestly. Here's Shinobi. A really good game, but very hard. Very hard game. Well, mainly the last zone was very hard. The Lucky Dime Caper, starring Donald Duck. Really cool game. Aerial Assault. It's not bad. Shmup. Castle the Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. It's basically like the Genesis version, but with different levels. Got the Lion King for the Game Gear. Really cool version. Much easier than the Genesis version. Ren and Stimpy, Quest for the Shaven Yak. Got this real cheap. A decent game. One of the best Ren and Stimpy games, but pretty damn hard. Terminator 2, the arcade game. Really cool version. Much better than the Game Boy version. Columns. Can't go wrong with Columns. Psychic World. An okay game. Decent game, early Game Gear game, but it's pretty challenging. World Series Baseball. It's whatever. Baseball. Alien 3. I haven't really played a whole lot of this. And last but not least, the game that I pulled out. Primal Rage, which this is a great version on the go. I love the Game Gear version of Primal Rage. So yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Game Gear collection. A lot of games, right? There goes the bag. A lot of games. So yeah, I love the Game Gear a lot. It's a really nice handheld. So, love this system a lot. Just want to boot it up for you guys. Yeah, the screen is a lot better than the other Game Gears. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my Sega Game Gear collection, and enjoy the video. See you guys later. Video Game Over 58, sign out. Peace.